Hi, everyone. Okay, so let's talk about this is episode 2 of the Queens of R&B SWV Xscape. So, um, I think the easiest way here, hot. The easiest way here is to deal with SWV first, right? So SWV, we get to see a little bit of their home life, and each three of them show us their home life. And all three of them live in different states, which I guess this makes sense. The thought never occurred to me that you would need that it doesn't matter where you live. I did think, though, to be in a group, I did think that this is it would make things kind of awkward when you're having to practice for shows, and because they do quite a few shows every year, that it also would make that it would be difficult when it comes to practicing with the band or practicing with each other. But I also thought it also makes sense because for their shows, they really don't do a lot of movement. No shade. But to where they would have to do there's not a lot of choreography, and there's not backup dancers per se. So because of the way their show seems to be a little on the low maintenance side, that they don't necessarily have to live close together. But I do think that it's great that we were able to see a showcase of their home life, their kids, kind of what their kids were doing. I don't know if any of you watch Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, but a couple of their kids were on Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. Not Taj's kid, but the other two were. Okay. Fast forward, I guess that's all there is to say about SWV, because they're drama free. Well, I don't want to say drama free, but they're low drama. I will say the preview of next episode, where SWV and Xscape are coming together, and I'm curious to see which person from Xscape wants SWV. I have an inkling of who it could be. Wants Xscape to be the headliner and to go on first, and to go on second with SWV opening for them, which set something off in all three SWV members. Like, we're not doing this. And I find that, and they're like, we sold 30 million records. And honestly, SWV has been able to, as a collective, they've been much more successful than Xscape was. And it's not taking any shade away from Xscape. And clearly, Candy and Tiny are the most successful from Xscape. But if we're talking about a collective from the group, I mean, that's SWV for sure. I mean, SWV has way more memorable records than Xscape does. With that being said, we're moving on. And I think part of the reason why they can say that they've been so successful is because they've been able to work as adults cohesively. So with that shade, let's move on to Xscape. Now, that is a shade intended, because Xscape, I was listening to Funky Geneva, and I absolutely have to agree at this point. I'm not sure why Tasha would do this show, because Xscape is touring at this moment with 3 people. And clearly, this show is a vindication for why there are 3 people. It's also a vindication to those people who always thought that Candy was the problem, that it actually was Tasha. All of that being said, now you have Tasha. I'm not sure. Tasha looks like the epitome of a jerk. This show is like Tasha the jerk, and then she has the innate gall to try to go in to do a gospel album with Motown Gospel. And you're like, a gospel album? Ma'am, there is absolutely nothing that would demonstrate that you should be doing a gospel album. And that is not even to be disrespectful. It is to be as respectful as possible when you treat your sister like crap and then going to have the audacity to say that she needs to apologize to you and mom, and then to have a whole business meeting with Xscape saying, oh, me and my sister need to work things out before I can sit here and talk and have a business conversation. And then when people are upset with the management that's attached to you, see, I would be looking at you sideways, since everybody knows that you stole your sister's money, and people in the group, there's evidence that they claim that there's evidence. And with that being the case, I can completely see why anyone would want to be hesitant to do business with someone that has close ties to you and your husband and want new management. So it clearly seems like you've always wanted this solo career. They don't want to be involved having they want new management that I would envision, I don't know, allegedly, I guess, anyone that you would recommend, and we see how you and your husband operate, I would be 20,000 steps hesitant to have a business relationship with you, to have someone that you'd recommend that has close ties to you and your husband to manage the group. So they want someone who's impartial to manage the group, which is 1,000 times percent fair. And then, so we have those two issues, right? And then, so then you come in and you don't even have a respectful conversation with the other two members. You don't give them the respect. And then you just walk out while in the middle of talking. Like, honestly, and then you have this conversation with Motown behind their back. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if I was Xscape, I'd be like, look, we're doing a trio, push her to the side. And you are treating them as if they're kids in the business. These people are just as old as you, has experience in the business, and has had more. It's definitely Candy and Tiny has had more experience in the business than you, because you fell off, right, for whatever reason. And I know that you go through this whole trying to do this allegedly something that because Candy had her own deal and your album just mysteriously went away. Like, come on, like, you guys weren't on the same label, you didn't have the same management. Like, why are you putting all of this on Candy? And here's the thing, Candy and your sister Tamika have been all over the internet streets on, definitely Candy's was tweeting up a lot last night on Sunday. Then you have Tamika, who is doing her YouTube channel. Candy is dropping her YouTube channel reviews on this show. Like, they're all giving these behind the scenes. And literally, it seems as if this whole show is, Tamika, you have been doing some shady business practices. You've been talking definitely fugazi to demean everybody else. Clearly, demean Tamika and Candy. I don't know why you won't go after Tiny. I think Tiny is just kind of like, Tiny is going to ride for Candy for sure. But Tiny is just trying to keep the peace. But also Tiny is trying to be like, look, can't we just eventually just squash us and get to the bag? But it's not going to get squashed. What's going to end up happening is Tasha needs to be dropped from the group, because she's making it seem as if she can hold everybody else's business up because she has the problem. And to be honest, you guys are in your 50s, right? Late 40s, early 50s. The fact that this one chick is going to be able to hold everybody else's life up, I don't think that that's fair. And this show is demonstrating to the fans, who I absolutely am a fan, that there is zero reason why Tasha should be in the group. And from the way that you're acting, the way that you are going about yourself, you honestly think that this is going to endear people to actually buy your album, a gospel album at that? I guess. Y'all can tell me how her gospel songs go, because Elizabeth is not buying it. And I mean, unless they play it on KGLH in LA and I listen to it on a Sunday morning, then that's the only way that it's going to come across my thread. Like, unless it becomes a recommended something and then I listen to it on Twitter, or it is going to have to be an accident, is what I'm saying. Will I even go on my Apple Music subscription or on my Tidal Music subscription and pull it? Why do I have both? That's a good question. But the point is, will I go through my will I go through my search to find her name, to even listen to it, to give a critique? Yeah, no. Because I don't think that anybody who treats people this way and treats their business partners, their family, because she's your family, Tamika is, and these other two women who you claim to be in close friendships with outside of just being a relationship, whatever. I don't want to say close friend, because that's a lie. I don't think that Candy and Tamika is close friends. Anyway, the other thing that I want to say, that husband is a piece of work. And I hate to talk about people's husbands because I don't want you to talk about mine. But when there's no way that the producer can sit there and ask you, so what can you do to get you and your sister together? And your husband has to come over and whisper in your ear for you before you say something, like, that's a problem. No husband, and I say that with all respect, like I've said this before, my husband, and I would never interfere with his relationships with his siblings or his mom and dad, and my husband would never interfere with the relationship that I have with my mom. So the concept that my husband would come, or I would come over and whisper in his ear before he responds, like who he could be in a relationship with and how he could deal with his friend, like that is bogus. Even when I don't even like, there's only one time that there's one friend that he has that I do not like, and I guess there's two, and I have never said to him, don't be friends with them. But if he point blank asked me, like, why don't you like him? And I told him specifically that friend tried to get you to choose between him and me. I had an eye infection, couldn't see, and he was taken to the doctor. And the dude was like, but I need to get picked up from the airport. And I was like, you mean to tell me he was trying to get you to choose between me and him? I don't want to be bothered with nobody who's going to help, because he clearly didn't respect me then. And I don't like a person that doesn't respect me as your wife. And there's some other few little things that he's done. But did I ever once say, yeah, I don't want you to hang out with him? I clearly was like, I don't like him. But I've never said, don't be cool with him. Don't be friends with him. That is his decision to make, not my decision to make. So, and if I feel that way about friends, you think I'm going to stand in the way of him and his family? I just find that I didn't like it. I don't like him, and any dude or any partner that is going to get you to try to choose between you and your family, unless your family is hugely toxic, and Tamika is not, clearly doesn't appear to be that way, is a shady man or a shady person. And so I've already was like, okay, I don't like him. Your husband is your husband. I get that you're the one who has to be with him and sleep with him at night, but I'm not interested. I don't think that he's a good person at all. And so there's that. Number two, the other thing that stood out is Candy's husband, Todd, made a comment like, it seems like you guys aren't going to be able to move forward in the way that you guys are supposed to move forward until you guys deal with these really deep embedded issues of Xscape. And clearly Tasha is the one who has these deep embedded issues about Candy. Todd set the bar when he said that it appears that she is upset because she sees the life that you have and she feels that that is the life that you deserve, that she deserves. And Candy doesn't have to apologize for that. I think the reason for me, I like Candy because I feel that she's the kind of woman that if you're going to be a friend to her, she's going to help you. She wants to help you level up. And her husband seems to appreciate Todd, that aspect of her. And we saw that on their other reality show about this restaurant, that he even is willing to have, when he has friends around him, he's willing to find ways for them to level up. And I like that. I do that with my friends. In my head, I'm like, when I want to make a business move, I want to do something in my career, I'm going to always be like, how can I help my friends level up too? Like those who are around me, those who ride with me. And so I appreciate that. And I'll say 2 seconds, if I had a business opportunity with Candy call, hit me up and was like, I have a business thing, let's meet, let's do whatever. 10 toes, yes, I would. Because people who are good people want to see not just themselves flourish, but those around them flourish. And I appreciate that. And so, and it's nice to see that Tamika is realizing that that's the kind of person she is. And whereas your own sister is not. Your sister's a hater. Like, and I cannot envision why Tasha would want Tamika to forego many of her opportunities that doesn't benefit Tamika. Tamika gets no benefit when Tasha wants to act this way. And you see that Tasha goes and signs a whole record deal, leaving Tamika further out. And Tamika would be writing for her sister and she'd have nothing. That's not a good person at all. So, I mean, it's like, I end this by saying, I'm not sure why Tasha would do this show. I don't see how Tasha would benefit from just getting the one check from doing this. But I hope you get into this show, this series, Queens of R&B, because it is very entertaining. Just the Xscape portion is very entertaining. No shade to SWV, but it seems like we're about to get into some drama between the Xscape and the SWV show. But I mean, I tell you, when each episode is giving a lot and it is entertaining. So keep watching. I'm going to keep watching. I'm definitely going to keep reviewing. By the way, I do want to watch that Omarion show. I see nobody talking about it. So I'm not sure if it's good or not, but I think it's 2 or 3 episodes in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch them. And hopefully I can watch them by Wednesday and review that. I am going to, girl, wait. I saw the first 10 minutes of that, the new gospel show that comes on. And boy, one of the kids is Fred Hammond's daughter. And I was like, oh, not Fred Hammond being a deadbeat dad, please. Please don't have Fred Hammond out here being a deadbeat dad. Because I love me some Fred Hammond. You know, these gospel shows, I think I'd prefer to not know so much about the gospel artists because it just really sucks. It really, really sucks that you have Fred Hammond out here with a daughter who he hadn't talked to in a very, very long time, and she wants to have a gospel career. Look like she's trying to do more than gospel though, but that's not the point. I find that very disheartening and sad, but I may review it. I may not. I may review it, but it looks ratchet. So there's that. But I am going to do the Omarion thing, and then I'll come with you for sure. I'm behind on Real Housewives. I'm going to do the review tonight because I'm totally behind. I haven't watched Real Housewives of New Jersey last week because I was traveling. So have a good week.